Wumsy Wumsy. All right, here we go.
Okay. So what is making you want to do this job? What makes you want to go for this? What's your values on this?
I've always wanted to do it since I was a little girl.
Okay.
When I was a little girl, our baby, I knew there was something special in my life. My parents lived in communities and made a difference. But I knew there was something about me. I always wanted to be the one to establish world peace as much as possible in my lifetime.
World peace is very important today, as most days. How would we project on fighting hunger? How would we solve that?
We need to first of all address the fact that those who desire to feed the hungry are punished by the law for doing so.
Exactly.
For instance, if a fast food restaurant decides to donate the food or give the food to a hungry person, they can be punished by the law for doing so.
Mm-hmm.
That must cease. I'm not saying that there are not people in situations that don't take some things for granted, but not every person in every situation is a person taking things for granted. And
Correct.
There's a lot of wastefulness in our country. They would rather for you to throw the food in a dumpster than give it to a hungry person. And that is a challenge for me to know that fact and to not be able to do something about it. I will work with the faith community also to make sure to meet the needs of the hungry.
Okay.
The Bible says that when I was hungry, did you feed me? When I was naked, did you clothe me? When I was in a desperate situation, did you come visit me?
Right.
And it also says that as much as you've done it to the least of these, you've done it unto me, which is the heavens. And there is no excuse for hunger or homelessness in this country.
I agree 100% on that. If we can come to terms in solving these issues, how do we go about it? What is the conclusion?
method?
Yeah, the method.
The method, first of all, is to connect with the faith community, which has numbers of people that come for their physical and spiritual needs to be met. The faith community is still very strong. The other component is addressing legislation that makes it punishable to feed people who are hungry.
Right. So how do we, like our taxes and stuff, how do we fix the budget to this?
Well, the one thing we need to know is that taxes and tithes were implemented after war. Okay? Let's talk a little history here. And I'm Pamela, and this is Amy, and I'm a presidential candidate for the United States of America for the 2028 election. Candidate identification number P2000-5203 and committee ID C00786-160, and my phone number is 234-442-2860. You feel free to call me. And even if you're on Facebook, make comments if necessary. Questions and concerns. And I'm about meeting needs. Back to your question.
The taxes?
Yeah, the taxes. The taxes need to be allocated more toward meeting needs instead of destroying homes and families. The taxes need to be more allocated towards family affairs instead of preparing us for more war.
Agreed.
The taxes need to be more focused on, as I said, family. As those who know me, they know that my mantra has been family matters, faith matters, finances matter, and futures matter. Fitness matters, fairness matters, and freedom matters. So, and favor matters.
Right.
We've been living, as I told them in the Cary City Council meeting on last week, it's time for peace. You can't have peace when you have people going to bed hungry.
Correct.
You can't have peace when you going over in other countries blowing up their religious buildings and their homes and murdering their babies. You can't have peace when people work 2 or 3 jobs and cannot afford to feed their families. You can't have peace. The hunger, our taxes.
Correct.
We need to review and look at the documents and the statistics for how much money is actually being allocated towards feeding the hungry. Instead, we have been investing more in psychiatric medication, psychotropic medications, mental health medications, guns for law enforcement, guns, drugs.
So what you're saying is violence is not the answer.
Oh, absolutely.
I agree 100% on
Oh,
that.
no.
I feel, again, I'm strong with you on this. I want peace. I want everybody to have a piece of life and just enjoy life as God intended it to be. Without war, without fighting, without saying, I don't have a home, let me take this home. I'm tired of all these wars. There's no need for this.
Now, the Bible says that there will be wars and rumors of wars, but it won't be the end of time.
Right.
That does not excuse abuse. I am the visionary for the Victim of Violence Fund called Truth Speaks. Because victims of violence, whether it be hunger or whatever type of violence, don't have adequate resources.
Correct.
To be fed when they're hungry, to have a place to live. Victims of violence don't have attorneys.
Right.
And don't have a legal right to attorneys, which is something the legislation needs to be implementing and putting in place, because the one who causes the violence has legal right to a public defender.
Right.
But the victim has no rights, and the victim has to decide whether to stay into the victimization or be homeless and receive labels.
Right.
The victim's life is affected. The diet of the victim is affected because the victim doesn't have adequate food, because the victim is fighting for one's life and doesn't have time to eat right and do the necessary thing. And then you have to have a label put on the victim as if they caused their own victimization. A mental health label gets put on them, or some other type of label is put on the victim, but there's no accountability to the one who caused the violence. So therefore, the food is affected, the shelter is affected, and every component of their life is affected.
So the system is broken. We need to fix the system.
It's very flawed.
Yeah, there is a lot of flaws going on. I'm with you on this. I agree. We need to really change the law. And how can we go about that without raising prices and court system costs and things like that for these people?
Well, another initiative I have in place is that when invited and welcome to do so, I do go around and I have a survey, or I have something that people can fill out. I would like to know your needs, your concerns, your comments pertaining to how things are operating, and what are you committed to every day? How do you spend your day? What is your day consisting of? What is your time consisting of? How are you productive so that you are healthy, wealthy, and wise? And what is your contact information so we can follow up and communicate with you to make sure that your needs, your comments, your concerns, and your daily commitments are being fulfilled and met. I also have something called opportunity options. I have initiatives in place such as No Bad News Network, NBN Network, and some other things. Rescue a Woman, Operation Raw, Rescue a Woman, and Mothers' Lives Matter, Moms' Lives Matter, Moms Matter for You Too. I have plenty of things that people can do to curtail the violence and address the hunger and the homelessness situations.
It sounds like a good plan.
And it also helps with the tax.
Now I understand you also have books out.
Yeah, I've written several books. One of my books is called Choose Life. I wrote the book in 2016 when I ran for president of the United States of America, the same time as Donald Trump. I had a contract with Create Space because I also still self-publish. I have my own publishing company, which is called PNP Publishers or PNP Publishing. But I also went with Create Space. Create Space was established in relationship with Kindle through Amazon. Well, Amazon bought Create Space and sold my rights without my permission. Choose Life, you can see it. There's a picture of me on it, on the front of the cover. And then in 2020, someone changed my cover without my permission, and multiple vendors are selling my book without my permission, and my book was outsourced without my permission, such as eBay, Barnes & Noble, and many others have been selling my book. It's actually in 4 different languages, and this book has all of the world issues with the exception of library science, sports, and entertainment. And the biblical response to the world issues, as well as the statistical government data and documents pertaining to it, from women's rights to you name it, it's in this book. It's called Choose Life, Love Works. I have another book called From Riches to Rags, The Costs of Reporting Abuse. What happened when I went to the system? What happened when I went to the various agencies such as Children's Services, law enforcement agencies, the courts, and the religious community for assistance, and when I reported abuse and violence to my children and to myself. And what happened in this very flawed system. Choose Life is also, a copy of the book is also in Cleveland Public Library, and my friend Aaron Mason, director of one of the libraries, I believe he's in Minnesota, Milwaukee, one of the M's, he's there. He has a copy of Choose Life and From Riches to Rags, The Cost of Reporting Abuse. And then I have The Passages of Pamela, which is in the United States Library of Congress. It's poetry. And then I also have Prodigal Protocol, which discusses the religious order and political order and disorder. It's in the United States courts, and it's also in the library of Oprah Winfrey, who, when she got my publication, my book, left me in the street to die. She didn't take the materials to find me and used it for her radio shows or TV shows or whatever, but she never took the time to come and find me to see if I was okay or thank me for sacrificing my life to give that material. I was told when I went to Chicago that I had to mail it express, so I did just that, because I walked to the studio and not walked to Chicago. I was in Chicago. I went to the studio to see about my publication, my book being put into, in her show. Maybe we could do something together, and they told me I had to send it express mail, so I did do that. And then her attorney several years later told me I couldn't prove it, which was an indictment within itself, because you're saying that you know you have it, but I need to prove it. I also have a book entitled, that I'm the author and publisher of, Gun Violence to Silence. We know that gun violence, the result of gun violence, and gun violence is not the after effect of what happens after we shoot the gun or after the gun is shot. Gun violence is due to the sale, manufacture, trade, and production of guns. There's entirely too much money spent in selling, trading, manufacturing, and producing guns.
Very much.
It's damaging our crop. It's damaging our environment. It's damaging our homes. And it's damaging our schools, our education system. It's damaging our planet. It's damaging our lives. Another book I have is, that I'm the author and publisher of, is From Welfare to the White House. I know that racist, wealthy, white America has been running the country so far, but it's time for a new trajectory, as I have been stating in many places, the Cleveland City Council, Summit County Council, Cary City County Council, the Ohio State House, and other places. It's time to take our nation into another direction. I want to put a pin right here because I need some help right now, you all. My son, Joshua Emmanuel Select Pinckney, was stolen from me when he was 5 years old in violation to the protection order that he was on because his dad was abusing us. He was stolen from a school and I was held unlawfully detained where I was supposed to be safe at 7115 Knobwood Lane in Indianapolis, Indiana. When I fled with my 4 babies to Indianapolis, Indiana in the middle of the night due to violation of my protection order number 287251 that was granted to me in Cuyahoga County. My son, Joshua Emmanuel Select, is being held in Ohio prisons and transported back and forth and transferred in these prisons against his will and his rights and not being heard in the court of law. If there's an attorney out here that can help me to help him and my other 3 children, I would really appreciate it. This is a political move because when I ran for president of the United States of America in 2008, after my children were robbed and stolen from me in 2002, I was beaten up and tortured, thrown in Cuyahoga County Jail, given a suicide blanket, told to kill myself, and my birthday was changed, and my ballot disappeared.
Not good.
If there's a constitutional law attorney that would help me, I'd appreciate that. I would also appreciate some funding. I have Cash App, I have Zelle, PayPal, GoFundMe, whatever. Not just for my situation, but to build up communities. My Cash App is the People's New Party, and there's a picture of me, Apostolette Pamela, on there. And there's another one, just Apostolette, APOSTLETT, with the $ sign in front of it for Cash App. For Zelle, you can Zelle me at either Key Bank, Chase Bank, Truist Bank, or one of the financial institutions. Joshua Emmanuel Select. He's my oldest son, but not my oldest child. He's been trafficked in the prisons ever since he's been 14 years old. My children, when they were robbed and stolen from me, were told that I had given them away, put them up for adoption, and knew they were being taken when a woman named Jill Edwards from Marion County, Indianapolis, Indiana, made a deal with James McCafferty from Cuyahoga County Department of Children and Family Services against me, and she told me that if I want my children, she stole my children and my life. If I wanted them back, I would do what she told me to do if it meant scrub floors and work at McDonald's. Back to the food again.
Yep. So I think that you're going to be a very strong candidate. I think you're going to be able to fight this and win this completely.
I would like to know what people would like for me to do. What are their needs?
Yeah, exactly. That's what we need to find out from America today. What is it that we really can do to help back up the next president, make sure we're good, find out where we stand as America today.
I had a real serious concern last week in Cary, North Carolina City Council meeting when they were talking about raising property taxes for homes. Because when I spoke on April the 16th of this year, 2026, I told them that there needs to be an escrow account put in place, established for landlords to put a portion of the rent into escrow to maintain the property. The only thing I saw that they were focused on was giving more guns and weapons to the law enforcement agencies. I didn't see anything that was family friendly, community friendly, nothing. I didn't see anything in place to help homeowners maintain their property. I didn't see anything for senior citizens. I didn't see anything for disabled people. I didn't see anything for mentally ill people. I didn't see anything for multiracial, black, brown, and indigenous people. I didn't see anything that addresses violence against women and children. I just saw law enforcement officers with guns on the screen where they're trying to enforce more money for preparing us for more war.
And violence is not the answer. Peace is the answer. I understand our law has to have what they have to have. I get that. But at the same time, you have to understand what America's about, too. We have families. We have kids. We don't want this in our communities. We want peace. We understand that there has to be a law, that there has to be police brutality and stuff like that in some ways. But no, not when it comes to our community.
No, there never needs to be police brutality.
Well, that's true. There doesn't need to be. But I feel that if our children and our families can come first, that's the way it should be. Why can't we get our rents reduced? Why did rent go so high and out of control and nobody's monitoring this? Why is it one bedrooms in Hackensack, New Jersey are almost $5,000? That's ridiculous for rent. Come on, people, let's get this right. Fix
What do you
this.
want me to do as your president?
I want the rent controlled.
How?
I think there should be a cap on rent for people's income.
Okay.
I think the taxes need to be corrected. I feel that nothing's being monitored correctly.
Okay, how would you like for me to correct it as your president of the United States of America?
I would like it to be so that if you have a certain budget that you're working, say you're a working citizen, and you can only afford this much in your budget, that's what your rent could be. So
Okay.
you still are able to get food, and you're still able to get medical treatment.
So what do you think about the fact that nowadays that if you're not LGBTQ plus, then you're not getting fair housing and other fair equal opportunities, that the heterosexual community is being discriminated against for the LGBTQ community? So I, as your president,
My theory on that is no matter who you are, what you are, doesn't matter to me. Your race, you're perfect. You should all be free and be able to do what you like. No matter who you are an American, you are a person.
okay, let me stop you there. Let me put a pin in there. As your president, my being your president, what do you think about the fact that both the president of the United States of America, Donald Trump, and the vice president are both married to immigrants, but are deporting immigrants? What do you think about that? And I will tell you my response as your presidential candidate.
I do not like the fact that they're married to them and then they can deport them. I don't appreciate the fact that all these children that are in these immigration camps are being punished and held for no reason, being separated from their own families. I think it's deplorable. I am really outraged. I'm a mom of 3. I love children. I will always love children. Children are my pride. They are above all what I care about. I will always do that for any child, no matter where.
I'm an overcomer of domestic violence.
Yep.
I currently have a protection order. What would you like to see me do as the President of the United States of America to address domestic violence?
I would like you to basically make sure that everybody stays safe
How?
by putting better laws in place so that they're not violent, but maybe get our lawyers and maybe some counselors better suited for the country that don't impair and block up our court system.
Because one of the challenges I face as a victim of domestic violence, an overcomer of domestic violence, is that wealthy people can afford attorneys to cover it up. The challenge I ran into for reporting abuse was that the dad who I have my 2 sons by is related to the former congressman, the now deceased Louis Stokes, the now deceased Mayor Carl B. Stokes, the former police commander of Cleveland Division of Police Anthony Stokes, and the former judge Angela Stokes. So to save face, I got sacrificed for telling, because the Stokeses were supposed to be friends with my family, and I was the disgrace of the family for they felt like I compromised people of color for telling, because that was the first black federal congressman man from Ohio, the first black mayor from a major city of Ohio, a black commander in the district where we live, and a black female judge on the bench. That should not have ever made a difference. The fact is, I reported abuse. That's all that mattered. I've reported abuse. And I got a label instead of a law. The racist part of this is Marcy got a law, but she ended up dead, but she still got a law. But I got a label. I'm concerned. A young man, a boy, just got 45 years in prison for defending himself because of racism, because two white boys were bullying him and he defended himself. A white police officer stood on a car in East Cleveland, Ohio, gunned down two unarmed black people on a schoolyard on a school named Heritage. After the chase had been called off 6 times, and he emptied multiple rounds, and they called 137 shots. These people were poor, and they had some challenges, but the chase got called off. Women, including women of color, people of color that are non-white, are getting double penalties for crimes. The crimes are being labeled. I know that even in your life, your personal life, you have challenges with how we're treated as women. Mm-hmm. I have a real serious challenge with that. I don't take care of a man. So whoever's listening to me, I take care of myself, and if I have a man who will be in my life that we work together, we'll help each other, but I'm not taking care of a man. I know religion teaches that women were created for men. That's an error. I just put it that way. It's a really big mistake that you have, because women were in the creation process.
Okay.
I have a challenge with a lot of this, and my challenge is that people can't even read the ballots. Literacy is a serious challenge in this country. Financial literacy.
That's the other thing I wanted to ask. What about the ballot? What can we do to make it easier for people who are illiterate and can't read it, and maybe make it smaller or simpler so that when you come up to make the vote, it's a very simple process?
Well, first of all, let me tell you why it's convoluted like that, to discourage people from voting.
Exactly. I get that.
What we can do is we can make people have opportunities that if they're interested in voting, and if they have challenges with literacy, we can go through our academic institutions and make it possible for us to help people with literacy. That's what we can do.
So we need to hire more teachers. We need to make the education system come stronger.
And another thing, we need to put prayer back in the school system.
Prayers, and we need to pay our teachers a better
more
salary.
Absolutely.
For God's sakes.
Absolutely. Now they want teachers to carry pistols in the school. Teachers used to lead us in prayer in the school.
No guns. Guns is not the answer. Prayer.
But you want children to come to school, go through a metal detector, and maybe never make it home to their parents.
Yes,
what's wrong with this picture
wrong,
here?
People, wrong. Come on now. Our schools used to be safe. It used to be fun for the kids. The kids are
They've
afraid
taken
to
cursive
come.
writing out of the
They
school.
now are home, always doing their education. This is not America. Come on, people. let's get back to reality.
Okay, what's another question you have for me as a president for the United States of America?
What about the, what was the other one I was going to ask you? I forgot it now. What about our lakes and streams and all this pollution stuff?
Well, it comes from the guns.
Well,
it comes from the drugs.
It's not just from the guns.
No,
it's
and
also
the drugs.
Our
now we have
truck
vaping.
drivers.
Well, yeah, we have vaping.
We have vaping.
We have marijuana.
Exactly.
And all this stuff is being poured into our waters, into our sewers.
These oil companies. That's another big thing. That needs
well,
to
the
end.
oil companies supply our oil,
stuff.
but the oil companies are angry with us for going over there, blowing up and killing and murdering their women and children. And I understand that recently the women and children were put on the front line so that if anybody got killed, the women and children got killed.
Well, the other
Help
thing,
me understand that one.
well, there's another thing. If you have an oil company, why are they not being held accountable for those big containers of oil and they're dumping them in our oil
Because they're
systems,
paid to do
our
it.
oceans?
No, and they're in our poor neighborhoods too.
Yeah, they're dumping them, hiding them, and they're not being held accountable.
Because the people
that needs to be dealt with.
It hasn't been dealt with because the people that they're making the deals with are the people who are having it done.
Well, okay, so how do we reach them and get that done? I need
Replace them. We don't reach them, we replace them.
But even if we replace them, that's not going to stop.
No, we replace them. In other words, put people in place that have the best interests of our communities and our lakes and our waters and our areas, because they need to be replaced.
Right.
Not replaced doing the same thing, replaced with people who have the best interests of the people in our communities.
Agreed.
Because that's not acceptable.
No, it's not in any form, because it's killing our
We need
our
more
birds, our animals.
We need more preachers in politics. We need more preachers speaking, not compromising, not sleeping with everybody in the congregation. We need more preachers who speak up and speak out. I'm not talking about any other religion, because I can't speak for any other religion. I can only speak for the one I know, which is about Jesus Christ. And while we go on there, Jesus Christ, and take this in the way it's being said, not the way you want to take it. Was not a transgender, but in the creation process, there's God and Goddess. There's a male and a female in the creation process. Genesis, the 1st chapter, verse 27 says, "Let us." Now, there is the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, but there's the Mother, the Daughter, and the Holy Spirit, because nothing takes place without a woman. So we don't need an image. We need a picture of what Jesus would look like if Jesus had been a female with Jesus, the male, doing the work, because nothing takes place without us. So we need to balance this religious picture out, because we sewing little girls' vaginas together in India and castrating these children. Come on now, what are we doing? There's no excuse for all this violence. Like you said, the oil being thrown in our lakes and in our ponds and our rivers and in our ocean. Yes. Where are we meant to be safe? I know there's some agenda from some of you all to blow up the planet while you go to another one, but your agenda is canceled right now. I decree it and I declare it right now. We've had enough of this. We've had enough. We have not touched on every topic today, but what we have touched on, feel free to contact me. At area code 234-442-2860. And I take your life seriously. Family matters. Faith matters. Finances matter. Futures matter. Fitness matters. The way we care for our bodies, it matters. Fairness matters. Nobody should have a ballot that is not counted and considered as a vote. Freedom matters. It is time to abolish slavery. George Washington was the first one who freed a slave in this country. I am a 9th cousin to George Washington. He was the first inaugurated president in this country. I am also a relative to Queen Elizabeth through the slave trade and Charles Coatsworth Pinckney, who signed the United States Constitution. It's time to abolish slavery. People are not property. Thomas Corwin says that under no circumstances is slavery to be abolished in this country. So if somebody breaks the law that they write, then you could make a slave out of them. Mental illness, there's no excuse for that. Although people have challenges, why are we not getting to the root of people's issues other than doping them up and tossing them in facilities? If anybody can help me, my son's name is Joshua Emmanuel Salette. He's in the Ohio prisons being trafficked, and he has been since he was 14 years old. Isn't that right, Judge Allison Nelson Floyd, in the juvenile court? I want some accountability. You were talking about accountability. I want some accountability for the Department of Children and Family Services in Cuyahoga County and the Department of Children's Services in Indianapolis, Indiana for violating my protection order and messing up the lives of my 4 children. Betty Catherine Brown Pinckney. We call her Kit. And those of you who call yourself prostituting my daughter, the devil is a liar, and you are too. You can't have mine. Lillian Rebecca Brown Pinckney. We call her Becca. Those of you who call yourself exploiting her, no more. Joshua Emmanuel Salette Pinckney. Those of you who have been trafficking my son in these prisons, it's time for you to let mine go. Hosea Jeremiah Salette Pinckney at Ohio State University. Those of you who call yourselves targeting and trafficking my son through these laws, you cannot have mine. Anybody who could help me? Anybody who could financially help me too with what I do? The Zelle numbers are available upon your request. The campaign phone number, and Amy will further direct you as well as others that are
just
part of
reach
this
out to
team.
her, help her out. She needs the help. I'm behind her. I want to help her. So let's get this done. Let's get America back to what it should be, a peaceful America. Let's help our kids in America. Let's get our teachers back to where they belong. Let's get our churches back up to what it should be.
And stop pimping the preacher.
Let's make America strong. Come on, people. Let's do this together.
I want to encourage you today. Let's make America hopeful, the United States, like heaven right here on earth. It's time for a new trajectory, not the same old thing. And just so you know, I have a new party that has been in place for over 10 years. It's called the Multi-Partisan Party. This is inclusive of all the parties, even the non-party parties, because there's good in each of you. It's the People's New Party. And you can find it on the Federal Election Commission website. It is inclusive of the independent party, but it's not strictly the independent party. Let's make America hopeful. Great implies that we're better than others. I like strong because it's time to renew our strength. But let's make America hopeful. I'm Pamela. Some call me Apostolette, some call me Reverend Pinckney. I got all kind of names. Some call me Reverend Pinkney Butts because women should stop having to give up their names and everything to be in a marriage when a man don't have to does not have to give up anything. If you want me to come and talk, Amy will let you know how. David Johnson will let you know how. Some other people will let you know how. There's a David page where he's been sharing some information about the campaign with you.
Most of her information, you have it already from the beginning of this. So just reach out. Let Pamela know you care and you want to help her. Please help her. With this, I want to help her. I want to make sure she's good.
I was homeless for 24 years. And a way was made for me in my wilderness.
We thank you for your help. If you can do it, please reach out. Let us know.
Let's make America hopeful. Let's make it a home.
Yep.
Let's make it a friendly place and a safe place. Thank you for your time.
Thank you all.
All rights reserved for this and all of my videos, and feel free to look for me. I preach, and they call me the political preacher in Ohio. Let's move forward, everybody.
Give us a call. Check us out.
234-442-2860. Today is the 15th day of June, 2026, here in the United States of America. Be blessed and have an awesome day today. I speak hope to you and peace. I speak love to you, and I speak opportunity to you here in America. All rights reserved.